Before we begin, thank you very much to Stephen J. for joining the Patreon campaign. Always appreciate it. Thank you so much for the support and keeping the channel alive, keeping the daily content coming. It's meant the world to me. You guys are the reason that I am now over 600 days of daily content, sometimes twice daily content, and you guys yourselves are getting close to 100 shoutouts in a row, which is absurd. It's absolutely absurd. We're gonna hit it this week, so it's madness here. The shoutouts I have to do this week. So people figured out the hack. People figured out the hack of this. It's gonna be an interesting time. Thank you guys so much for doing it. All right, news roundup time. Once again, our Monday tradition. We're going to start with a little bit from the 2 new trailer clips that came up for Rise of the Beast. Nothing too heavily spoilery, but one of them is mostly I'm bringing up as a correction. I did the trailer breakdown video, and I completely whiffed on this whole thing of like Noah getting this attachment thing on his arm, which some of these trailer shots, I'm not going to spoil it, do actually incorporate a little bit more obviously. But the big thing here from the previous trailer I missed was the fact that yes, he's wearing a full exosuit. Some people noticed that. I didn't notice that because Bumblebee was in the middle of fighting all these tiny little robots and it looked like he's just one more hanging off the spoiler of his car. I didn't know. It didn't look like anything to me. So, okay. On me for not noticing it. But yeah, it looks like we're getting a movie-style exosuit. And it looks like Noah's actually going to be in the thick of it instead of on the sidelines and having to like have a whole thing written in that a human can do like they've been doing in previous movies. This one feels a little bit more natural for the Transformer vibe. We'll hope that he's closer to Spike than Kicker. How about that? And then the other trailer came up is Prime Meets Primal, which is a full version of the... We've seen this scene before, but that was when it was just Prime and Primal. Now we're seeing the whole thing with the Autobots and the Maximals at the same time. So now it's fully rendered and detailed. Like I said, we're not going to go into like too much spoiler, and it's not really that spoiler. So that's why I'm throwing it in here in the news roundup. So if you want to see it for yourself and actually hear a little bit more of the characters, we get a little bit of personality for Mirage. We get a little bit of talking from Wheeljack. Not a whole lot. But it's a cool scene. It's a cool scene. So, how about we talk about actual toy stuff? Because that's what the channel's about, right? We got our first look at what is most likely Studio Series Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime. And it does look quite good. I haven't had the Bumblebee movie Prime in hand in a long time. So I don't know how much of that figure is borrowed from for this one, but it does look really good. It looks really, really solid. It's going to be a nice way of getting a hold of that for people who could not previously grab that figure, because it was like, it's like really expensive now. It's like a really high demand figure now, but this one hits the same notes, even if it is altered. So yeah, you're gonna get somewhat of a second chance. At least have something similar to that design. It looks good. It looks good. Looks better than the main one. The extra silver in the midsection really helps separate it out. Looks like it cleans up and transforms really well too. Is there a... Did someone... I remember seeing a shot of someone picking it up and seeing it from the back. And there it is. Look how clean the back is. Look how clean that is. He can put his spine from the movie in. Like, that's really cool. Like, I really want to see how this thing transforms. I really want this thing in hand now. This is cool. This is cool. I'm looking forward to seeing how this one turns out in hand. We also got a couple that we weren't supposed to see yet. So here is the artwork. Here is the box for Studio Series Rhinox. We have gotten very few looks at Rhinox's robot mode. So this is a really nice thing to finally get our hands on. We see it's not the clearest photo. It's a little blurry. Yeah, and a little bit too blurry for the description. Charges onto the scene to protect the Maximals from their from intruders. Okay. But yeah, it's a little bit blurry, but we at least get some kind of proportions. We get some kind of general shape. We see, yeah, unlike a lot of the toys that have been out for Rhinox, it's not completely trying to emulate the Beast Wars look. It's got the smoother chest, the way that a lot of these Maximals from the movie have done. The head is similar. They at least keep the head similar. It's closer to Rhinox's original head than Cheetor's head is to his original. Let's put it that way. Big, like, smashy hammer, too, which, okay, the chain guns are always iconic of Rhinox, but for a movie Transformer, I don't mind the reimagined weapon, because, hey, a Rhino with a massive hammer actually sounds completely on point. But that's not the one that was exciting to me. It was this one. It was this one. We got an in-box shot of the Voyager-class Gamer Edition Megatron from War for Cybertron. I loved the first toy of this that came out. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. And to get another version on the way that is higher articulation, higher detail, larger, I am, like, especially after the Gamer Edition Optimus turned out so good. I know some people complained about that figure. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was a great figure. A lot of fun to mess with. I can't wait to see this one in hand now, because it seems like they are really putting in some effort when it comes to these Gamer Series figures, which is good because they are coming from a more obscure place. So to kind of make up for that in a quality way, that works out. Really eager to get my hands on this one. Really eager. All right. We got another photo of another upcoming toy. This time we got our first look at Deluxe class Grimlock from EarthSpark, coming with a severed human leg. Let's point that out, because this is a Build-A-Figure thing. It is a very heavy retool of Cyberverse Deluxe Grimlock, which is not a surprise to me. I pretty much expected it. There is a lot of new detailing on it, though. It's not just a new head. A lot of this has been redone to match the new aesthetic. And it looks really, really nice. Like, we haven't really seen Grimlock in show yet, but this is a really nice, clean take on his robot mode. And the T-Rex mode looking really cool, too. I mean, I like the extra paint alongside. It actually looks like they went pretty ham on the paint in the Beast mode. You can see it on the tail, the spines, the head, the eyes. He's got a lot of little detail going on, which is really cool to see. I've liked these. I've liked the EarthSpark Deluxes, so I'm eager to get my hands on another one of them. Anytime it's a Grimlock is always an appreciated one, too. Yeah, he looks good. He looks good. I'm looking forward to him. Still waiting for the torso so I can start plugging all these spare parts together. Just got, like, severed heads and arms just flailing around in my toy bins. On to other upcoming figures. We just got our first proper official look at the next Beast Wars Again 2-pack, Cheetor and Waspinator. Appropriately 2-packed since they fired the first shots of the Beast Wars. This is pretty appropriate. I like this. And he looks really good. I like how the face and eyes are done. Like, he actually looks like he's kind of staring up at whatever he's targeting. And he finally has all the blue in the right spots. I no longer have to, like, split the difference between I don't have to split the difference between what the Kingdom figure and the Netflix version did. The head has been bronze, which I never quite like. I never quite like when they do that. I understand it's because his head in the show is more metallic than the rest of his body, but the head is supposed to just be yellow from like rewatching that series. I don't know. I'm not a fan of the bronze head as much, but at least it's kind of mild and it matches in some of his other colors, so it's not terrible. I've seen worse. Hello, Transformers Red. And then Waspinator has a ton of paint to get him right. In the Beast mode, you don't really see it. It's the robot mode. Holy. Look at that on the shoulders, forearms, upper legs, lower legs. The head has a ton of paint on it. They painted the edge of his bug head. That's a lot of little detail. That's a lot of little detail. I look at Primal and I go, like, what is really changed? And then I look at Waspinator and go, that's like miles apart from the previous one. I was previously going to, like, probably pass on these because I'm just paying a premium for an upgrade mostly. But these are starting to come out much, much nicer, and I'm like half debating going back on that decision. We'll see. We'll see. There's lots of good stuff to spend money on these days, so it's not like I need to really add more to it, right? Right? All right. I think we're past the potato quality photos now. We have this. So, the debate is this a retool for Bludgeon? Now, it does come with a sword. So, yes, there is part of this that is going to be Bludgeon. We can see, like, the translucent weapon is, I believe that's new. I don't think that's one of Tarn's fusion cannons. It is gang molded to the chest, which seems like it's got different detailing. It's really hard to tell with the clear plastic. It doesn't have the head. It's yet another prototype that does not have the head attached to it. So, this is still a debate whether or not this is like a full prototype of the new Bludgeon toy, or if this is just like a partial of Tarn that's not quite complete or something. We're not really sure yet. But yeah, it was pretty much expected. I think we were predicting Tarn would be retooled into the new Bludgeon, so not the biggest of shocks there. We'll see. We'll keep an eye out. It's probably not going to be long before we get like a proper, like fully headed version of this one. Next up, let's talk about YOLO Park. We've been mentioning them a lot lately because they've been pretty heavy in their model kits for Rise of the Beast. All three of the main ones have now been officially announced and revealed. We've got the Optimus Prime, who does look really, really nice. Tons of really nicely done detail to him. Looks like he's going to be really posable in his final form. 20 centimeters tall, so not too bad on the size. If we look at the others, we got Bumblebee, who looks really, really nice too. Nothing translucent on him. It's all solid and painted, so durability is not as much an issue for me. And it means his eyes are nice and bright, which I always like. He looks really, really cool. And then, look at that. Look at that range. And then we have Optimus Primal. Another really good look at what Primal looks like in robot mode in the movie. Yeah, and again, detail on this is pretty spectacular. Like, they seem to go all out on it. You can see he has multiple faces. He has the mouth exposed and then the full plate. This is an interesting series because it's not the most complex of kits. If this is the model kit series I'm thinking of, you mostly just get a box full of pre-painted arms, legs, torso, head. You're really not going to spend a whole lot of time putting it together. And all this is, by the way, completely pre-painted. So you just open the box, connect things onto the torso, and you're good to go. The idea that it's labeled as a model kit when it's so much is already pre-assembled is a little bit silly and ridiculous, but it does make it easy to build. So you certainly got an advantage there. It's a nice looking line. I don't know necessarily if I'm going to go. I might go for one just out of curiosity's sake. But, for the most part, it's just going to be like a nice, hopefully inexpensive way of getting a hold of some super nice looking versions of these characters. Hopefully. If you want something that is not so affordable, we can do that too. Someone has dug up photos of a brand new Robosen figure. And that is the last thing I was expecting for now. And it's Grimlock. We've got a Robosen robotic Grimlock on the way. This does not seem to be one of their just like robot ones that they just started doing. This does seem like it has all the capacity to transform. Now, obviously, I don't know that for sure. There's no shots of it in beast mode, but it does have this instruction sheet that comes with it that does mention starting a conversion. So it does have it's got a transformation capability to it. And to see a Grimlock auto-transforming is going to be really, really cool. Why? Because, let's be honest, the Robosen Optimus, we've been seeing like little homemade and college-made robot toys transform like G1 Optimus for a long time now. It's kind of like the go-to to make a like self-working robot that's tabletop size. This... this is much bigger, much more complex. But this is a completely different style of transformation than we have seen yet. So even the Robosen kind of adopts like the same kind of transformation scheme we've seen for years for homemade robots. This is going to be completely fresh. So how this works and how this transforms, I am super interested in seeing. This should be cool. This should be really cool once it's fully revealed and shown off. Robosen's not done there, though. They are still announcing little bits and teasers for their Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime, which is just a standard robot, no conversion, but does look like it is superposable and well articulated and heavily detailed. And yeah, it has the chest opening, the matrix is in there. Yeah, if you just want a programmable robot, this is the way to go. Probably going to be a lot cheaper without all the bells and whistles to make it transform, so who knows? Who knows? This one might be fun for those who want something a little less complicated. We have a few behind-the-scenes posts. The first one being about the Nemesis. And this is, there's a lot of body of text that I'm not sure really says anything brand new. It mentions things like, basing the head off of how the Ark is based off of the Autobot symbol's head. We pretty much knew that. We pretty much knew that's how that was going. And it basically just mentions a lot of the stuff we've already heard about. So, yeah, it's not a bad read if you want some deeper lore into exactly what went into making the Nemesis a thing. So, feel free to go read that yourself. There's another one for the Evolution Commander Optimus Prime from Transformers Armada. And this one does have one bit of pertinent information to it. When they first suggested making this character in the new line, when they first suggested making a brand new one, Mark actually pitched using the WonderCon Takara Tomy prototype that they used years ago. And they found out that the gray model that they showed off there was not capable of the combined mode. So if you're wondering why we didn't get that one for this figure, why they started and did a brand new one from the ground up, that's why. Because that one wasn't able to combine. Jeez, look at the posability in that. I mean, he's resting. His foot's resting on Menasor, but man, that's a lot better than the original one did. It's a lot better than the original. The post also mentioned that there are proper ratcheted shoulders and hips to this one, which a lot of the bigger figures have. But it does kind of lend credence to the idea that we may possibly get a Jetfire and an overload for this at some point, because the toy is designed to handle a little bit more weight in the joints than usual. So who knows, we might actually get something a little bit more along with this Prime. Have to wait and find out. This was actually really cool. So, once upon a time, Takara used to do these contests that would let you submit these really crazy random color schemes for your toys that you had available. There's always it was a coloring contest, and the winning color had very few. Sometimes it was 1 off. In this case, it was 10 off. But someone who still had theirs from when they won the contest finally broke it out. You can see it's still like twist tied to the cardboard and everything. They've taken great care of this. So this is the first really good look we have had at it. And yes, because these were made by kids with coloring books, there is an extreme color here. And it's definitely like not the most eye-catching of color schemes. Like, it's pretty crazy what's going on. So yeah, it's a really cool look at a little piece of Transformer history that we've never really gotten a good look at before. Even if it's not the prettiest thing to look at, right? It's still really fascinating. I think it's still really cool that we finally got to see it. All right, let's end off with some of the weirder news of the week. Number one, over in the UK, a lawn garden tool company called Bosch is doing a promotional campaign with Transformers. If you buy enough of their tools, they'll give you a free battery, and this somehow applies to Transformers. I don't know how. I don't know. They're not even giving like a movie ticket away with this one. It's literally just, hey, buy our stuff, and by the way, robots. I never understand these kind of tie-ins, but okay. Speaking of batteries, a company called Anchor now has a portable USB bank that you can charge up all your stuff on the go that features Transformers. So this big Optimus Prime power battery. I believe there's actually a phone called an Optimus Prime that has nothing to do with Transformers. So you can actually charge your Optimus Prime with your Optimus Prime now. You know, if you want to. So yeah, it's just another weird branded merchandise thing. But if you really need everything in your life to be Transformers branded, you have the option now. And finally, if you want these characters from the new movie in giant cardboard size, you now can. All the main renders from the movie have these gigantic cardboard cutouts that are now available. Yeah, these would make good standee stuff. Like if I had room at the toy shop, these would be like little great detail pieces. Hopefully you really like some of these characters. There are some EarthSpark ones as well too, which is cool. This is as close as I'm gonna get to standing next to the IDW Megatron, so that's gonna be important to some people. There's Thrash, there's Twitch. So yeah, it's always neat when these things come out, because I think it's been, I can't even remember the last time you could get like cardboard cutout stuff for Transformer characters. So that's actually kind of neat if you got the space for it. And that's going to be our news roundup. We had a ton this week. It's almost like we have a giant movie coming out anytime now. But I hope you enjoyed. I hope you're now caught up on your Transformers news. Thank you guys for watching as always. Stay tuned, because the outro credits does have a little highlight thing from my recent live Twitch D&D game we're doing every Thursday night. If you like the vibe of that, please come check us out. We put a lot of work into it, and it's been a lot of fun so far. So, that's everything going on. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you next time.
It's the Bosun's turn. He's looking at TJ's character, and he's just like, what you gonna do?
Right. I blew him a kiss.
It's...
I love him. I love him.
What the hell's your problem? He's just gonna pull his hand crossbow and just fire at you.
That's fair at this point.